Hello and welcome to the Daily Newsroom and another edition of the Daily's Doubleshot. I'm executive producer Simon Fox. Let's take a look at what's going on around our campus. First off, we meet up with Tranisha Jackson as she wanders campus looking for excitement. Then we get a ride with Lyft. We catch up with our dogs and see how the start to Pac-12 football is treating them. Next, Alicia Snowden shows us a little-known artistic haven called the CMA. Then we preview a Cuban filmmaker's movie screening at UW. Finally, we tour the 3 living spheres of UW in our own homage to Husky Cribs. All this coming up on the Daily's Doubleshot.
Ooh, what is that? Try some rice.
Yeah.
I'll see you there. Okay.
Hi, I'm Tranisha Jackson, and we're out here interviewing students on what they're excited for this year here at UW.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my God, it's heavy.
Let the games begin. Are you busy? Do you have a moment? Or are you busy?
I'm good, thanks.
Oh, okay, thank you. Rejection. Hi, are you guys busy? Do you guys have a little bit of time? All right. So, what are you guys excited for this year?
Graduating, finally.
Yeah, I'm graduating this quarter, so it's great.
So you guys are just excited to leave and get out of here.
Well, it's really nice coming back and everything, but I'm excited for the next step and then coming back in the future to be like, oh, I remember this place, all these great memories around here, so.
And feeling old.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to this year?
Definitely looking forward to more of the Husky games, the home Husky games. Playing Zombies versus Humans this week, probably be pretty fun. And I guess just meeting more new people. It's been a lot of fun so far.
So you're just excited to be a Husky this year?
Yeah, go Huskies, go Dogs.
And so what are you looking forward to this year?
Definitely just meeting new people, I guess.
Meeting new people, are you in any clubs or activities or anything like that? Are you thinking of joining any?
Yeah, definitely. It's nice to meet people who have the same interests as you.
And what are some of your interests?
Like singing and soccer. And
So you consider doing like intramural soccer or anything like that?
yeah, definitely.
Thank you. Are you busy? Go ahead, get your education. Education is good. That's what we're here for. So what are you looking forward to this year?
I'm just really looking forward to giving back to the community and just really spending my last year being a true dog, just getting involved with all the activities here on campus and just honestly trying to give back with community service, just really going to all the games, just really being involved with the community.
Just living it up?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So what are you excited for this year?
Well, I just got in my major, computer engineering, so I'm pretty excited about that. And also, I'm the music director of my a cappella group.
Well, there you go. People are excited to get involved on campus, go to more events, see more of the games, and just be a Husky.
Hi, I'm Colin Farley with the Daily's Doubleshot. Today I'm taking a look at a revolution in transport in the city and how it can help budgeted students like us explore Seattle.
I'm Colin Farley. We just lost to Stanford and I need to get the hell out of the U District. So I'm not going to wait for a bus, but I am going to use something fairly new to the system. It's called Lyft.
With the weather turning, the students less likely to want to wait for a bus or hope to find a cab. Lyft has tapped into a business idea that opens up an entirely new way of conveniently, affordably, and safely getting around the city.
How's it going? Just calling to confirm our Lyft service.
Eddie was our first driver. He showed us how the app worked, offered us candy, and took us down to Capitol Hill.
Lyft is like a taxi service, but it's cooler because it's like your friend driving you around.
I've given, like a guy named Alex, for instance, I've given him probably about 5 or 6 rides in about the 4.5 months that I've done it. And, you know, I know him by first name. We talk about the zombie apocalypse. I've never had a drink with him, but I wouldn't be opposed to it.
You can rate the driver, and the driver can also rate the customer.
It'll be like, whoa, how can Eddie improve? Is it safety? Is it friendliness? Is it cleanliness? Or is it, you know, navigation?
Due to their immediate availability, Lyft also provides a sense of security, in the sense that we didn't have to hang around this level too long.
I think the thing that you get with like a cab is sometimes you can call them and they might show up, they might be there, they may not. You just don't know.
You know, it's probably more safe than a cab driver.
And this security came at an incredibly good price.
I mean, this will probably, I wonder what this will cost. I'd say like from the U District up to Capitol Hill, you're looking under $20 for sure.
He was right. Lyft is donation-based. If one really wanted to be cheap about it, they could do so. But paying less is ultimately unfair to the driver, and the rating system will paint you as an undesirable customer, just as much as bad behavior.
If I rate someone who was drunk in my Lyft 3 stars, I never get paired with them again. So I think it's sweet.
Lyft is spearheading an upheaval in urban transportation. Accountability and responsibility is placed on all sides, leading perhaps to an almost forced bond, but it does still feel real.
So, what do you enjoy most about being a Lyft driver?
Fun people. I met several really, you know, today I've had like really great conversations today.
I don't know, that's kind of hard to state. Like, I mean, sometimes I can be, I don't know if I'd say I become friends. Maybe like, it's a big city, so I mean, I'd say I become pretty deep acquaintances.
Whether or not Lyft's ideals actually create a sense of goodwill on all sides, or if everyone is putting on a show, we come out of it freed from the monotony of the bus, the expense of a cab, or the late-night wait for a ride.
What route would you take now that you're a Lyft driver?
What route would I'd take a Lyft. I'd take Lyft.
You would just take a Lyft?
I would just take a Lyft. I always take Lyfts.
Lyft yourself?
I use it all the time, especially after a couple of drinks, I do.
If I have to go to downtown and then come back at night, I'll definitely use Lyft.
It would seem Lyft has changed urban transport forever.
I think it revolutionizes it because I'm actually a community member in the city. I speak English and I'm a part of the community, and I know most of the people that I've picked up I've either seen in my own community. I live up on Capitol Hill. So the building that I've managed, I've actually given rides of my tenants. At the same time, I'm their landlord and their cabbie, kind of. It's sort of funny. I mean, it's kind of a huge communal thing that you don't normally see in a city, I think.
This communal business trusts its customers and employees, and with their own simple and effective checks and balances, will only flourish.
Can't explain the relief I get.
Hi, I'm Teresa Jackson, the assistant producer for the Daily's Doubleshot. And up next, we have a nice recap segment of the first quarter of the Huskies football season. Take a look.
It's been an exciting season on Montlake thus far as the UW unveiled the new Husky Stadium and their up-tempo offense for their fans in the opener against Boise State University, as the Huskies look to avenge their loss to the Broncos in last year's Las Vegas Bowl. Despite losing a heartbreaker to number 5 Stanford last week, the Huskies have given their fans plenty to cheer for, evidenced by their current ranking at number 16 in the Associated Press polls. Much of that can be attributed to quarterback Keith Price's play, who has looked more and more like the player we saw his sophomore year in his first year as a starter, replacing Husky legend Jake Locker. Bishop Sankey has also emerged as one of the top running backs in the country, showing that he can carry the offensive load for the Huskies. Sankey is 4th in the nation in rushing and has 7 touchdowns. Now back to the opener against Boise, where UW fans saw the Huskies put on an offensive clinic, with Price hitting different receivers all over the field while running the no-huddle offense to near perfection, and then letting Sankey finish off the drive with the first UW touchdown of the season. Later, it's Price again rolling out of the pocket and finding Joshua Perkins in the end zone, and that's more than the Huskies would need as they thrashed the Broncos 38-6 and entered the national rankings. After a victory at Illinois, Idaho State was next on the schedule, and Sankey was doing his thing once again, scoring the touchdown here. The running game was firing on all cylinders against the Bengals as Jesse Collier adds a touchdown here. The Huskies found little defensive resistance from Idaho State, rushing for 370 yards. The defense had a monster game as well, not allowing their opponents to score a single point in this one. And right here it's Sean Parker coming down with the pick for Washington. Just for good measure, Price added his second touchdown pass of the day to tight end Austin Jenkins. Price finished with 213 yards in this one as the Huskies throttled Idaho State 56-0. Not exactly a nail-biter. Now to the UW's first conference game of the season against Arizona, and again it's Price hooking up with ASJ for the touchdown. The rain posed a problem for both teams in terms of passing, but not here as Price fires a 49-yard bomb to Kevin Smith to keep the Huskies marching down the field. And then it's who else but Bishop Sankey, capping the drive with a dive into the end zone for 6 more Husky points. Collier also got in on the action with this scamper for another touchdown. This game was close at the half, but the UW ran away with it in the final quarters. With the lead late in the game, the Huskies were now looking for the knockout punch to seal the deal against the Wildcats, and it comes right here in the form of a Marcus Peters interception. And from there, the Huskies could celebrate their first conference win of the season, as they defeated Arizona decisively by a score of 31-13. Up next, the Huskies face a tough task when they host number 2 Oregon on Saturday. As exciting as the season has been, it's safe to say that there's still plenty of football to be played on Montlake. Well, Husky fans, it happened once again as the Oregon Ducks came to town, and to say the least, it didn't go well for the Huskies in their blackout game as they lost to the Oregon Ducks 45-24, marking the 10th straight loss to the Ducks, a decade-long losing streak. So we got some highlights for you, not too many Husky ones, but we'll show them to you anyway. ESPN's College Game Day was on site for the showdown between number 2 Oregon and number 16 Washington, and fans crowded Red Square in the wee hours of the morning to show their Husky pride on national television. 7 hours later, the fans had moved into Husky Stadium, decked out in all black in the hopes of seeing UW take down the hated Oregon Ducks. It wouldn't be an easy task for the Huskies, though, as Oregon quarterback Marcus Mariota made them pay with both his arm and legs. Much, much more from Mariota in this one. After both teams failed to score on their opening drives, it's Byron Marshall just breaking the plane to score the touchdown and put the Ducks on the board first, 7-0. But the Dogs would answer back on their next drive as Austin Jenkins goes airborne for the Keith Price pass and brings it down to knot up the score at 7. Bishop Sankey had his usual monster day, finishing with 167 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, but added this costly fumble to give Oregon the ball back. And the Ducks would capitalize on this turnover as Mariota rolls to his right and finds Braylon Addison for the 4-yard TD pass. Ducks back on top by a touchdown now, 14-7. About 4 minutes later, the Husky D parts like the Red Sea for Byron Marshall as he waltzes his way into the end zone. Oregon would take a 21-7 lead into halftime. After both teams traded 60-yard touchdowns and a field goal each in the third, here's Sankey breaking off a 25-yard touchdown run to bring Husky Stadium back to life. UW down by just a touchdown now, entering the fourth quarter. But Mariota wasn't done yet, and would answer with a rushing TD of his own, knifing his way through the Husky defense for 6 more points. Ducks starting to pull away now, on top by 2 touchdowns with just under 14 minutes left in the game. Just for good measure, Mariota tacks on another touchdown pass to his ridiculous stats on the day, hitting Addison in the end zone once again. Score is now at Ducks 45, Huskies 24. And sadly, that's all she wrote, folks, as Oregon bests the Huskies yet again. Final score, Oregon 25, UW 24. Alright guys, so there we have it. Huskies wore their blackout uniforms tonight, but just looked like they were doing a little mourning for the decade-long losing streak they've racked up against the Ducks. This is as close as we've seen the Huskies come this far, Kevin, as sad as that might sound. But so how close do you think we are to sort of going toe-to-toe with Oregon, maybe matching their skill.
Right. I mean, matching Oregon is always going to be a challenge. They're one of the best programs in the Pac-12 and in the country, so not an easy task. But I do think that today maybe wasn't as far apart as the score might indicate compared to some of the games in the past 10 years or so when they've lost by similar margins. I think the teams were pretty well matched today, other than the fact that Oregon had Marcus Mariota. I finished with 456 total yards, 4 touchdowns. Not a bad afternoon. He was just pretty indescribably good today. And I mean, if he keeps playing like that, even if Oregon is missing its #1 running back, its tight end, its #1 receiver, it's not a whole lot of teams are going to be able to beat them with Mariota playing like that.
That's right. We basically did see the Marcus Mariota show on full display this afternoon. But despite his dominance, Sark said he was proud of the way his team hung in there.
That's a good team we lost to. It's been back-to-back weeks of playing 2 really good football teams, and I think our kids have showed a great deal of competitive spirit. I think that they've shown that we can play with those guys. You know, we played with Stanford for 60 minutes, and we played with these guys for 3.5 quarters. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get over the hump against 2 really good teams, but that doesn't take away from our football team. We're a good football team.
So we heard Stark talk a little bit about this team's resiliency right there in that little soundbite. So Tukni, even though we've lost these past 2 games to Stanford and Oregon, you have to be encouraged by the way we're playing against these tough teams, right?
Definitely. Against Stanford, the Huskies brought them down to the final play of the game, outgained them by more than 200 yards on offense. In terms of Oregon, they hung with them probably the best they have in this past 10 years. In terms of keeping it tight on defense, and they kind of wore down towards the 4th quarter, but I think that they wore down a lot later than they would have in the past before Steve Sarkisian put in this no-huddle offense.
All right, guys, so looking ahead to the Huskies' next opponent, we got the Arizona State Sun Devils coming up on the road. Kevin, what do you expect to see in that game from Arizona State?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be another tight one like these last 2 the Huskies have played. Arizona State's another team that likes to go up-tempo. I run a lot of plays, so we'll see that again. They got a running back, Marion Grice, been a touchdown machine for them this year, and they got a big wideout, Jalen Strong, who's been coming on strong, I guess, in the last few weeks. He's been playing well for them, so they'll give the Huskies defense another challenge.
So Tukni, at this point in the season, is this game against Arizona State a must-win?
Definitely. If they lose this one, they're going to be dropping to 1-3 in Pac-12, and 7-6 is definitely looking like another possibility.
Well, Husky fans, it looks like we'll have to wait another year to get our shot at the Ducks, but until then, we'll see you next time here in the Husky Highlight Show. I'm Tyler Hartung here with Kevin Dowd and Tukni Nguyen. Thanks for watching.
Hi, I'm Alicia Snowden, and now we're going to have a look at a secret within the UW art community.
Thank you!
I'm Alicia Snowden, and this is a sneak peek of the ceramic and metal art building at the University of Washington.
CMA, or Ceramic Metal Arts Building, is originally the ceramics compound and the sculpture compound at the University of Washington. A lot of fun things to do with the CMA. Put a lot of power in the students' hands when they take classes down here. If you're taking the sculpture class, you're learning how to weld and use all the wood shot materials. If you're in the glass class, right now we're doing slumping and we're doing casting glass. In the future, there'll be hot glass working. So all the students that are in these classes, we entrust them to use all the equipment and use it safely and do whatever they want to do in their research work here at the university.
So there is a certain degree of desire. Have ideas, pursue them, and learn what you need to learn as best you can and put them out there, and then have other people comment on them. All of those things are potentially terrifying, you know? I think the invitation is to do those things.
Here at the CMA, with all our studios so close, it's such a tight-knit group overall. You're always here. The instructors are always working either in their class or on their own stuff, so they're available and accessible, and they're willing to talk to you. And they stop by. People are friendly.
I, of course, don't think it's a mistake for anyone to spend time being challenged with their own creativity, you know? I just don't, whether you want to be an architect or social worker, philosopher, scientist. I think the problems that we present down here are really about revealing how you see the world and what you value in it, how you might communicate that, and doing that with a group of other people, which also awakens you to a lot of other possibilities for your own perspective.
Our community, we feel we have a good community down here, and it's very important for us to have a community because we are a separate building on campus. This interview is going on in the kitchen, which we have a microwave, a little toaster oven, refrigerator, and a sink, and everybody's responsible for cleaning up their own dishes after cooking. Community is really important, and we have a lot of events down here for our students. We have a lot of openings every year. We have 8 to 10 BFA openings this year. The community is always invited to all these different events, and they participate in seeing the openings and cookouts and volleyball games and other things.
Everything is available here in one form or another, and it's up to the individual to take full advantage of that, because the faculty and staff and everybody here is available for you. And that's not common everywhere you go. The community's here, and it's great because it makes the time go by, well, almost too fast. You know, I just started, and I feel like my 2 years is going to be over tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Annie Wilson, and I covered a Cuban documentary which discussed the first human sex change in Cuba.
Trapped within a body of male genitalia, yet self-identified as a woman, Marvi Suzel struggled to fit into the patriarchal, homophobic, and sexually conservative society of Cuba. Film director Marlene Salia captures Suzel's struggle and eventual first gender reassignment surgery in Cuba within the documentary titled In the Wrong Body. The film exposed Suzel's childhood as a sexually assigned male but self-identified woman and the consequential judgment and even abuse from her community and family. There used to be a time where if you cross-dressed, they would take you straight to jail. But now, if you're found cross-dressing or in the process of being reassigned, they leave you alone. When Suzel underwent Cuba's first sex change surgery in 1988, it was not widely accepted in the community. Over the years, Cuba has grown a stronger acceptance for diversity, which has been led by the National Sex Education Center. Through their support, 30 other patients have underwent sex change surgery funded by the Cuban government. Soya explained that the core issue to the resistance towards diversity is Cuba's construction of gender roles. Being a woman is more than having a vagina. Suzel is now 53 years old and lives out the traditional gender norms. She has become trapped in the construction of herself. Soya examines this issue further in the fictional version of Suzel's case titled Wedding Dress. It will be released in 2014.
Since it was the first episode of the quarter, we thought we'd put together a segment on different living situations around campus. So first off, Simon Fox shows us what a dorm is.
So here we are down at Alder Hall. It's part of the tree-themed dorm complex down at West Campus on the Campus Parkway. This is a place where most freshmen spend at least part of their freshman year. So we're going to take a look around. The tree-themed dorms were constructed about 2 years ago, so they're still brand new. There's no holes in the wall, there's no scuff marks. The floors seem relatively clean. In fact, they're spotless. Got a great view of Campus Parkway. You're right next to campus. You're literally a 5-minute walk from Red Square. Couldn't really beat this convenience.
Living in the dorms is nice because you get to meet a lot of people on your floor, and you just kind of go all over and meet all sorts of new freshmen, make new friends, kind of help adapt yourself to college life.
Yeah, it seems like it's a great place to keep the training wheels on, but you know, living outside of home for the first time, a lot of people can't handle that freedom, but here you got laundry, food, anything you can need right here. So this is basically one of the major complaints with the dorms is that, you know, though it is a great way to kind of get your foot out the door and start living on your own, there are way more rules and regulations that you have to consider compared to living off campus or living in a fraternity or sorority. So basically we just stumbled into like Whole Foods or PCC, except for the fact that it's in a dorm. I'm not necessarily going to pay $6.50 for a latte right now, so let's go up to the frats and check out what kind of disgusting things go on up there. So we're up north of 45th at one of the many fine fraternities that are up here and that offer housing for students. It's more of an all-inclusive package. You pay one house bill, and that pays for food, that pays for room and board, and it pays for even a little bit of alcohol. So the way that this particular house works is there's no breakfast, there's no hot breakfast served, but there's cereal, But then for lunch and dinner, there's a full-time chef that comes in and prepares meals for about 70 guys. So she has a really, really tough job, but she makes it work. Yeah. So, Colin, you've been living here for a couple years. What's what's your favorite part about living in a fraternity?
I don't know. You just create some really good relationships with a lot of guys. You get to meet a lot of people. I've always been kind of terrible at meeting people. So when I moved out of the apartments to here, it's just a lot of fun.
All right, so we're here in like a typical fraternity room. It's a little bit more spacious than a lot of them. You got, just couches. They're way more set up for a ton of people basically to hang out in them. Not like, a dorm room where you can't have more than, 3 or 4 people in them. These are really set up for a lot of people to be hanging out. So just about another 3-minute bike ride from the fraternity. We are up on about 17th and 55th, about 5 blocks from campus, in a house that's kind of old. It's in a more residential district. There are actually like old people living around, which is pretty curious, right next to a college campus. But it's a little bit more laid back, a little bit more free form. You kind of have to get things done on your own out here.
I just didn't really want to be in the dorms, and I didn't want to like join a sorority, and I kind of want to like do my own thing, not have like rules and like someone keeping track of me all the time.
Right, is that like the best part of living up here?
Yeah,
it's just,
no,
like,
it's so much
total
nicer,
freedom.
like no RAs or anything. So, and I found like a good group of people to live with.
So basically what I'm hearing is you move north of campus, you start doing your own thing, you get a ton of freedom. You can, start cooking for yourself. You can start wearing whatever kind of facial accessories that you might want to. Some people get afraid of the freedom, just that, you think it's gonna turn into a pigsty, or people are gonna start fighting each other, but I know if you find the right group of people, you live up in a house and, everyone kind of fends for themselves, and it seems like, the last training wheel gets taken off after you first live in the dorms, then maybe live in a fraternity, and then you're living in a house and you get to make decisions completely for yourself, and, it's tough to be successful, it's tough to be self-motivated, but if you have that gumption, then... Well, that's all we've got for you today, but make sure you tune in 2 weeks from now to catch our next episode. In the meantime, you can check us out online at dailyuw.com/doubleshot or at our YouTube channel, Daily UW. We really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you next time on the Daily's Double Shot.